King Charles just got diagnosed with cancer. It feels like he just took the throne. And his Bazi Chinese Astrology reveals one of the most imbalanced charts I've ever seen. In fact, the question is this the astrology chart of someone who should be a king? This is Lydia Nitya with Karma Chameleon. Here on the Feng Shui and Bazi Astrology channel, we often cover the Bazi Chinese Astrology charts of famous people to better understand our own lives and our own charts. I have said before that Cancer often is like it is energized and manifests in a chart that is too hot and dry or too wet and cold. Now, this chart of King Charles is gotta be, I've done thousands of charts in the 20 some years that I have been a master Bazi astrologer. Nothing like this. And I'm gonna break it down for you. It's a very interesting chart with some shocking, really cool things that show up. So stick with this. And if you're interested, please subscribe. Feel free to be a super subscriber. Help me stay alive here on this earth. And hit the bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. Because I'm also, this is kind of a two-part, because what I found in King Charles's chart was enough to prompt me to do Prince William and Princess Kate, Duchess of York, because I don't think this guy is going to be king for long. Why do I say that? So that's what I mean. There's too much to cover between 3 charts in one video. So I will figure out a way to pause this and then come into the second part. But suffice it to say, this is an interesting turn of events. So right at the start of a new year. Now, King Charles is born the 14th of November, 1948 at 21:14. That's his time. I'm going to show you his chart because it is truly amazing. You start with his year, his month, his day, his hour. And when you look at the day is everything, right? So this is Yang Earth Rat for his year. For his month, Yin Water Pig. For the day, Yin Water Rabbit. For the hour, Yin Water Pig. We have 2 pigs. That is an affliction. We also have over 80% of his own element water. Over 80%. Like, holy mackerel. It is like this guy is out to sea in his own happy boat, surrounded by all of his people, right? And it's like, holy mackerel, is this a chart? This is a follow self water dominant chart because there is no fire. The one thing that doesn't fully qualify it is that there isn't a full water trio. But what you have is a semi-wood trio between the pigs in his chart and his rabbit self. This is a rat-rabbit person. This is somebody that is very good with negotiation, finances, money, and working with the public, for sure. But rabbits tend to be very aloof and kind of in their own lane and off in their own world, okay? They can be condescending. They can be volatile, fiercely independent. He is a natural leader, but he really needs balance. He needs harmony all around him. He doesn't do well when things get out of whack, okay? So there are a lot of things happening for this guy's chart. Now, you know, it's interesting because with the monarchy, you're just given this. It's not like you sign up and say, here, let me interview for this job. No, you're born into it. whether or not your chart supports this job. And it doesn't. I don't think so. Let's dig in deeper. First of all, I have said before that people who have a whole lot of their own element, two things can happen. They are big performers where the stage is lit and it's all about me. And we see that with a lot of celebrities and a lot of politicians and a king, where you're able to shine this light of yourself out into the world, but everything is about you. Everything is so self-involved, okay, that it's hard to see outside of that narrative of the self. It can be isolating in that way, okay? The other is that that much of your own element, kind of like in this case, it's like he's drowning in himself. Add to that he has two pigs, which is a self-punishment. This is somebody that gets stuck in his head. Thinking. Old patterns of thinking. Kind of like you get stuck in that loop of negative self-talk, inner turmoil, a fixed mindset, not as open. Well, for the monarchy, that might fit, right? Because it is a fixed mindset and old ways of doing things. Now, the other interesting thing is this pig showing up in his hour and his month is very interesting because it shows the parents and his job are all aligned as the same, connected. It's the monarchy. There we go. So when we look at all of this, this shows a blade or dagger in his chart, both month and hour. In a lot of ways, this is like this inevitability of becoming king was a curse, like something not chosen, but something that he had to walk into. There's no choice. This shows somebody who is very sensitive. That's also a rabbit trait as well. And someone who is under attack. Now, having that also show up in his hour as his job does not bode well for somebody in a political role where the likelihood of them taking on such a monumental role and this is someone who so much, again, of his life is about himself, self-expression. Now, in his job, it is not only that he brings himself and his followers and his supporters and his friends, his colleagues, his network. It's also someone who is learning himself in a new role. This job is almost like, for like if this were an actor, I would say this looks like somebody playing different roles as an actor. In this instance, it's almost like an identity crisis, this job that he's in, because it's forcing him to be something different than he normally would be, his true self. This is an alternative version of himself that has had to adapt to the role being put upon him, okay? And it's a job that is ever changing. Now, for him in this job, he is more likely to be someone that is going to push the envelope, try for new things, and be a bit of a rebellion. It'll be interesting to see what things he can do as king that would be rebellious and daring and bold, Maybe, I know he's really interested in the environment. Maybe that is something that comes up for him, that he, pushes laws that are very strong towards preserving the environment. Anyway, as we go through his life and these life pillars, these luck pillars, okay? And I've mentioned before, I actually did a short about this video that I'm doing. One of the things to recognize is that a luck cycle can predict exactly what's going to happen to you because of the elements and the animal coming in for that 10-year period. And this is divined by your birthday and time. So when I wanted to really look at where things begin with him, we're looking at this period from 1976 to 1986. 1981, he got married to Princess Diana. That was in this luck cycle. This luck cycle was a Yang fire tiger. Now, this is a dangerous thing to mention here because fire is the enemy of a chart that is so watery. It's almost completely water. There is no metal in his chart. There is no fire in his chart. There's about 10% earth, which is what rules him. It's his job. It also shows about a balanced amount of wood, what his output is, which is a good thing. It does show that he has some momentum to get out of himself and into the world doing things. The earth is kind of lost out there. There's no fire nourishing it. So when fire shows up, it's the enemy of water. And the fire is mentioning travel and money and fortune, but it's all, and also marriage. And this is when he got married. This is also a time that was filled with change, a very changeable time in his life, becoming a husband and a father. There is a daughter foretold. Well, he didn't have a daughter. There's a lot of family and responsibility here as well. So this is an interesting thing to see, the prediction of his marriage to Princess Diana. We go into his next luck cycle, and this is where Yin Fire Rabbit shows up. Now, this is interesting because the Yin Fire is a conflict with his Yin Water self, and the rabbit is himself. Interesting that when you look at what he looks for in a relationship, right? And you look at Camilla, Queen Camilla, she is like, he's just looking for fun. He's looking for somebody to do things in life with and have a good time, to be active participants in life together. So that's what's highlighted. And at the same time, that Yin Fire is speaking of the father, his role as a father, his own relationship with his father, and get this, infidelity. And this is that period, 1986, when for sure there's, whatever is going on with him and Camilla while he's married to Princess Diana. Hot mess. Now, we then come to 1996. His luck cycle changes and Princess Diana dies. Now, it's surprising and not surprising at the same time that he would go through a massive shift like this at that time. And this is a time in his life that was Yang Earth Dragon. So that's double Yang Earth. That's really putting a massive emphasis on his career, his family, and his duties. This is very, very strong on his duties. That's like everything. We're then going to skip ahead to the current luck cycle. Interesting, this is 2016 to 2036 is in void, which means if anything can slide sideways, it can. And for someone who has such a bizarre astrology chart with a self-penalty and with the dagger or the blade in his chart, and that this is a yang metal horse bringing fire back into the scene, and metal, which he doesn't have. Now, metal is helpful because it nourishes water and it supports the water pattern. Then when we see the yin, there's yin fire in the horse and also a little yin earth. That little yin earth is enough to maybe help this situation, because that fire again is not welcome. Interesting. 2016. All right. In 2021, his dad died. In 2022, his mother died. In 2023, he became a king. That's a pretty intense little luck cycle to be living through, right? Now, interesting that the yang metal of this time period is all about government and his mother. The horse is talking about his father and basically an inheritance and inheriting this throne. And then the yin earth speaks of a job change, a shift in his role and his responsibilities and challenges with all of that. I mean, that's exactly what is happening, right? So Cancer shows up. Now, is he going to die? No. I will say I don't think he's going to die. Why do I say that? Well, I think part of this is that it was caught early, and I think that I don't see an indication where this could be that dramatic. But what I will say is that the horse is beleaguered here. And that's because the horse is the enemy of the rat. That's his year. And so there's a battle of fire and water going on in this luck cycle. And the fire, I think, is the Cancer. Now, if that is true, that my intuition is speaking truth, which I would like to think so. I do a lot of my work intuitively, and it's usually pretty accurate, is that there is so much water putting out the fire. That's why I don't think he's going to die. But that being said, I think that in 2026, which is 2 years from now, when he shifts into another luck cycle, at the age of 77, I think something big is going to change in his career. And it aligns with Prince William's chart, which I'm going to do next. So stay tuned for Prince William and Princess Kate, Duchess of York, who their charts are coming up next, because I think there is more to this story. Until then, be well.